I guess, is there some sort of requirement that was instituted that they have to meet with their deans in a certain time period, or is that just, do y'all encourage that?
We encourage them to meet with their student deans, the college representatives, as much as possible or as much as time will allow. But it's never really been enforced.
There's no hard and fast rule for that.
No, but that's where the vice president really plays a big role. As the chair or chairwoman of the assembly. She is really charged to make sure that we're meeting those outreach goals. And she's done a fantastic job. Looking back on all of it, Shara was just by far the best person to run with. She's really great.
And we kind of touched on this earlier, but the relationship between SG and the Daily Texan was somewhat antagonistic during that time. Do you feel that their coverage of that whole episode was fair?
Fair, yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think as a whole, though, I think as the Daily Texan, should really concentrate on more substantial stories. I know student government's important and they like to focus on us, but there's bigger issues out there. For instance, they tend to focus on the Student Services Budget Committee. I mean, which is important because that's where the fee money, for is. But we are very careful. We've opened up our meetings this year. Daily Texan's been welcome to come to any Student Services Budget Committee meeting. We've been open. There are other committees and other places that, are not as open to any student. And that's where we need to focus our energy on as student leaders, Daily Texan and student government. But they always tend to focus on us. And like I said, I've told them several times, go ahead. I mean, you can write about us all day, but the really big stories are still out there. And if we work together, that's where some real good headway can be made in terms of opening things up. But I think they tend to focus on student government a little too much instead of working with student government on really key issues on campus.
So do you think y'all have sort of made amends after that, since the whole election?
No. No. I mean, the thing is, I haven't, I hold no ill will towards Daily Texan. I really like Jillian. I like her staff. I think the news team especially does a really good job. But I've always been encouraging them to take on issues that I think are important. And again, I'm just one student, and I realize that. But I think due to my position, I have a really good idea of what the key issues are on campus, and I wish they would concentrate on those instead of student government as an entity. But like I said, anyone's more than welcome to scrutinize every little thing we do, because trust me, our advisors and everyone scrutinize us as well, so we're used to it.
Getting it from all sides.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. I mean, we're not doing anything that I'm not proud of, And if there is something wrong, I'd like to know so we can fix it.
Okay, well, let's move on to this year's elections, which I'd like to remind our viewers, they're held March 2nd and 3rd, and you can vote online at utsg.org. First and foremost, which travesty candidate do you think is funnier? Supreme Leader Aaron Walther or the egotistical Stephen Colbert-y Zach Kennard?
I like Zach a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's a great guy. I think I love his sense of humor. I think he's really funny. Tower Talkie is one of my favorite sites. I really, and what's the current travesty candidate?
He's modeled after the Soviet leader.
I think he's funny. I really wish he wouldn't be in a wheelchair since he's not wheelchair bound. I'm a big disability advocate, and I wish he didn't do that. But I like the travesty for what they're doing. I think they bring it down a little bit.
Yeah. And
I've only worn a suit 4 times this year. I am not stuffy, and I like the fact that they make it fun.
Yeah.
And I think Zach has done more for student government than he knows. I think he really does, because he knows the issues better than most students.
Yeah.
He's smart, he's on it, and I've really come to respect and like him a lot. Yeah.
So out of all the candidates that are running this year, who do you think has the best chance to win? Who do you have your money on?
I'm happy to say that I have no idea. I really don't. I have good friends on all sides, and so for me, it's really good that I can't take a side this year, because I signed something as part of the Election Supervisory Board Selection Committee that I can't campaign for anyone.
Okay.
And I'm kind of glad I did, because we got some really great candidates, but like I said, I've worked with many of them, and I'm glad I don't have to choose. Until I vote. but that'll be secret. But I think student government is going to benefit a lot from this election because it's going to be competitive. You have very legitimate candidates, and it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out. But believe me, none of it was predetermined at all.
Yeah.
So,
what advice do you have for whoever wins the election this year?
Get ready.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with the budget cuts a little bit, but we are looking at budget cuts that the university has not seen in a long, forever. Actually, I'll go that far to say in a long time, because we are struggling right now as a university. And I know that Zach Kennard makes fun of President Powers for his blog and how his narrative of how tough it is, but I got to back him up on that. Yeah. I mean, we are going to make substantial cuts. Now, when I say substantial cuts, I mean that's not a scary thing. I mean the issue is we have to come up with some money. We're going to have to make tough decisions, and I think the next student government president needs to make sure that students' voices are heard in all those discussions. Because if they're not heard, we're going to see things happen that students don't like, and students are going to know about it, and they're going to be really upset. And I just don't think the administration, the faculty, the staff, or the students want that. They all want to have a seat at the table.